everybody, Jamie House's True 52 here. Right, I'm now going to continue the story of the ill-fated maiden voyage of the RMS TITANIC. So now, the last video uploaded last night was when she left Queenstown and heading out towards the Atlantic Ocean. So after she left Queenstown, she made it into the open ocean. So the RMS TITANIC was due to be docked in New York on Pier 59 on the morning of the 17th of April 1912. That's when she was due to arrive in New York after a transatlantic crossing from Southampton to New York. So 17th of April 1912, when she, on the morning of that morning, she was due to dock in New York. So from Queenstown, which is now known as Cork City, so the RMS TITANIC from Queenstown following the Irish coast as far as Fastnet Rock. So she was following that, the coast of Ireland, as far as Fastnet Rock. After leaving Queenstown, this was. And this was a distance of 55 nautical miles from Queenstown to Fastnet Rock. And from there, she covered 1,620 nautical miles from Fastnet Rock along the Great Circle route from across the North Atlantic to a place to reach the spot of the curve, to reach the spot known as the corner. And this was southeast of Newfoundland. Newfoundland. So she reached the ocean known as the corner. And this was southeast of Newfoundland. Where these west out steamers changed the course. The RMS TITANIC only sailed only a few hours past the corner on a moon line leg. Or 1,023 nautical miles. So she was covering some distance at this point. to the Nantucket lightship. So he approached the Nantucket lightship. Where she made a fatal contact with an iceberg. But more of that in another video. The final leg of the journey for the RMS Titanic, if she didn't collide with the iceberg, would have been (193 nautical miles) to Ambrose Light, and then finally to New York Harbour, if she hadn't collided with the iceberg. From the 11th of April, when she left Queenstown, to noon the next day, which was the 12th of April 1912, the RMS Titanic clocked up 484 nautical miles on a maiden voyage. So she's done a lot of miles now. And the following day, on the 13th of April 1912, she covered another 519 nautical miles. So she covered another 519 miles on the 13th of April 1912. So that's some more miles she covered. From then until the time of her sinking, she travelled another 258 nautical miles. Averaging about 21 knots, which is 24 miles per hour in today's speed. So she's going along at a steady 21 knots, 24 miles per hour, on a maiden voyage across the Atlantic Ocean. The weather after she left Queenstown cleared, and she left Ireland under cloudy skies with a headwind, so the wind was coming towards her bow. So a headwind, and she left Ireland under cloudy skies and a headwind. Temperatures received fairly mild on the 13th of April. They kept fairly mild on a maiden voyage across the Atlantic Ocean. But the following day, RMS Titanic went into what is known as a cold weather front. So Titanic sailed into a cold weather front on the 14th of April. With strong winds and waves up to 8 feet, 2.4. 2.4 metres high for waves. But these died down as the day on board the RMS Titanic carried on. So these died down as the day went on. Until by the evening on the 14th of April 1912, the RMS Titanic was sailing and it became clear weather. There was no moon, and the waters are calmed, and it was very, very cold. But the first 3 days on board the RMS Titanic's maiden voyage, the first 3 days went without apparent incident from Queenstown. So the first 3 days into RMS Titanic's maiden voyage across the Atlantic Ocean went without hitch. These was the first 3 days. But a fire had broken out in the RMS Titanic's forward coal bunker, which is here. So a fire had broken out, and it was burning for days during the maiden voyage. And this coal bunker served the boiler rooms 6 and 5, which is at the front here. So a fire broke out, and it was burning 10 days prior to departure from Southampton, and it continued burning on board the RMS Titanic for 4 days. But 10 days prior to departure, it was burning at that point. Now, 1912, coal fires were a massive thing on board steamships. There was a reason that there was occurring all the time. Because in 1912 it was known as a hazard, so they couldn't do anything about it. So it was always a hazard in this time of year. It was always hazardous. But the passengers were unaware of this little fire in the coal bunker. Passengers were unaware of it, so they just continued going around the day-to-day business, and also just enjoying the maiden voyage of the world's most luxurious ocean liner in service that day in 1912. So I was unaware of it, and it was burning for several days into the maiden voyage of the RMS Titanic, and 10 days prior to departure from Southampton. So the passengers were unaware of this fire in the coal bunker. But in these days, fires were common on steamships like the RMS Titanic. That was very, very common. And they occurred frequently on board steamships like the RMS Titanic. They kept going on frequently, so it wasn't anything new on board the RMS Titanic. As fires always happen on these steamships, so it was onward occurrence. The fires for coal had to be extinguished. In them days. With fire hoses that were on board the ship. By moving coal onto other coal bunkers. So when it was put out, it had to be done onto another pile. But but they couldn't do that. The coal that was on fire had to be shoveled into the furnace, so it couldn't cause any more problems. So it has to be fed into the furnace. If it was a light, it has to be fed into the furnace on these ships. The fire in this coal bunker was finally extinguished on the 14th of April 1912. That's when it was finally extinguished. But people have been people have been saying that the fire in the coal bunker that fed the coal between 6 and 5 weakened the RMS Titanic structure. And they said it made this magnificent ocean liner more vulnerable to sinking. So it weakened the RMS Titanic structure, and it made her more vulnerable to sinking. Right, Titanic received several ice warnings from other ships that were close to the RMS Titanic. She received God knows how many ice warnings from other ships that were nearby the RMS Titanic. And this because of drifting ice in the area of the Grand Banks of Newfoundland. So RMS Titanic received various ice warnings in the area from other ships that was nearby the RMS Titanic. But Captain Smith ignored every single one of these ice warnings because it didn't flatter the captain, because he knew he was making good time, right? And he knew the RMS Titanic wouldn't sink if she hit any ice. So Captain Smith ignored all the ice warnings from other ships in the area. One of the ships that won the RMS Titanic of ice was the Atlantic Line's Masamune. Mesabamba. So she gave ice warnings to the RMS Titanic. But like I said earlier, Captain Smith ignored every single one of these ice warnings. Nevertheless, the RMS Titanic continued on her course to New York, averaging 21 knots, 24 miles per hour. So she continued on her way to New York, completely oblivious to all the ice warnings that were issued because Captain Smith ignored every single one of them. So the RMS Titanic continued on her course to New York. And she continued at full steam, full speed and full steam from the ice warnings. She carried on going at full speed and full steam. which was a standard practice in the time of Titanic's life. It was a standard practice because in one scene in the movie, J. Bruce Ismay, who was on board the RMS Titanic, said to Captain Smith, "So you're not let loose the last 4 boilers?" Then Captain Smith was like, "No, I don't see the need. We are making excellent time." But J. Bruce Ismay wanted RMS Titanic to make headlines. So he said to Captain Smith, he said, "This maiden voyage of Titanic must make headlines." So, by that said, Captain Smith ordered the last 4 boilers to be lit, just to please J. Bruce Ismay. As he was on board the Titanic at the time of his maiden voyage. Although she wasn't trying to break any record, she wasn't trying to be trying to do any record. Was the RMS Titanic? She just wanted to make a safe crossing. Past the Atlantic Ocean, just wanted to make a safe crossing, and just make headlines. Timekeeping in these days was in this day in 1912. Timekeeping was priority for the shipping companies. It was priority was timekeeping. So Titanic had to keep up with her time. And under maritime laws, in these days, there was often operated at full speed. Was the ocean lines like the RMS Titanic? There was operated at full speed, as that was a maritime law in these days. The ice warnings were seen by the people that looked out. But that was in the crow's nest, which is up here, which is broken off now. And the lookouts consist of Reginald Lee and Frederick and Frederick. Frederick Lee and Reginald Lee. Reginald Lee was in charge of the crow's nest. The listings was looked on by the lookouts and sent to the bridge. The bridge here. So I went to the lookouts and the watch of the bridge crew. So that's where the ice warnings were. They went to the crow's nest and also they went to the bridge. If they saw any of them. It was generally believed that that little bit of ice in these days would be alright, because the ships were made of solid steel, so it didn't affect them that much in these days. That little bit of ice posed little dangers to these massive ocean liners. They proposed little danger ice did on these days. But close calls were uncommon in but close calls of ice was close calls of ice in these days was not uncommon. And even head-on collisions in these days were that as well. Even head-on collisions with ice was not disastrous in these day and ages. In 1907, the SS Prince William, a German vessel, a German ocean liner, had rammed an iceberg, but still completed their voyage. So the crew was not really bothered about these ice warnings. What they kept getting. They wasn't too really bothered really. All they wanted to do on board the RMS Titanic was keep up the momentum, get to New York, and complete a maiden voyage. Our shipbuilding had gone well beyond 1907. So it didn't really phase the crew on board the RMS Titanic, or it didn't even phase the Captain Smith either. So Captain Smith was like, "What's a little ice going to do this? What's a little ice going to do this magnificent ocean liner?" So that's where I'm going to leave today's video, guys. The next video I'm going to be uploading will be the 14th of April 1912, or actually 14th of April 2024, and this is when the RMS Titanic struck an iceberg on a maiden voyage. Struck the iceberg on the fourth day at sea. So stay tuned for the next video, guys. Please give this video a thumbs up. I welcome comments anyway. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.